Today we're looking at the top 10 most romantic places to propose. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers! Today's a very special day. We're celebrating love in the best way we know how, inspiring you on how to propose to your significant other. This step is usually very scary for some people, but it also means that you're ready to commit. Engagement is normally the first step before marriage, and it can last as long as the couples want it to. In Sweden, for example, engagement is the equivalent of being in a relationship with someone, and it doesn't mean that you have to get married with that person. Whatever views you might have regarding love, engagement, and marriage, it all starts with a proposal. Whether it's a proposal of marriage, of commitment, or just of dating. For many women, seeing her bow down on one knee and popping that beautiful diamond ring from a tiny velvety box is just surreal. And if that box is light blue with a white ribbon, meaning it's from Tiffany's, the answer is probably 100% affirmative. Although engagement is usually private or even non-existent for some couples, it's still a very special moment that needs some coordination and planning, because there's nothing more romantic than a surprise proposal. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. If you guys are looking for inspiration, then keep on watching because we have the 10 most romantic places to propose. And P.S. girls can propose too. Number 10. Paris, France. We're starting with the most iconic place in the world, the city of love, Paris. This city is romance in a nutshell. Even their language is sexy and alluring. Croissants and coffee, fresh flowers everywhere, long walks, beautiful architecture, and we could go on and on. It's all topped with the most beautiful museum, the Louvre, and of course the Eiffel Tower. Lots of people go to Paris to propose, and you'll find a lot of men down on one knee in front of the Eiffel Tower or at one of the castles with those beautiful gardens. Paris is beyond beautiful in the spring and summer, but if for some reason you happen to be there during winter or rainy autumn, have no fear. There's always Plaza Athénée, or the Four Seasons Hotel, where you can propose on the balcony because it has a breathtaking view of the Eiffel Tower. A sneaky little tip for you: the Eiffel Tower lights up at night, so you might want to wait for nightfall and then head out to dinner. Paris gives you such a good vibe that you'll want to propose at every corner. And if you don't have a lover, you can always fall in love with the city. Number 9. Rome, Italy. Another great city suited for lovers is Rome. Italians are very different from the French, and although fashion-wise we can't choose between them, when it comes to romance, we might have to declare pizza, pasta, and gelato the winners. Rome kind of wins over Paris because it used to be the capital city of an empire, and you can see and walk through ancient remains of a great era. It's the city of art, architecture, and food lovers. Why should you propose in Rome? Well, to start with, you can come up with the best itinerary inspired by La Dolce Vita, and then plan around the best sites in Rome. For example, you can choose to pop the burning question late at night at the Trevi Fountain, when there aren't so many people. At the top of the Spanish Steps, where you can see the whole city and enjoy some quiet time, or even better, in the Roman Forum, along ancient ruins of the eternal city of Rome. You just can't go wrong with Rome. We've all seen the Woody Allen movies, the Vespas and the Colosseum, and they really portray the perfect scenario for a romantic getaway. Number 8. Central Park, New York. New York, New York. Maybe this mega city is not quite the most romantic landscape you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it's basically an urban, crowded, immense jungle. But it all changes when you go to Central Park. Even the neighborhoods around the park are beautiful, calm, and safe. Blair and Chuck got married in Central Park, so you can imagine how many proposals happen here. The whole park is amazing, but there's a particular spot where not many people go, and you get all the privacy in the world. It's called Bow Bridge, and it's the most photographed spot in the park because you can see the famous Fifth Avenue building mirrored in the lake among the trees. Depending on the time of day you go, the 60-foot bridge can be a little crowded, but if you don't fancy bridges, there are other romantic spots in the park, like Bethesda Terrace or the Cherry Hill Fountain. The possibilities are endless in the city that never sleeps. Number 7. Lake of Love, Bruges, Belgium. Back in Europe, but this time in Bruges, Belgium, because it's even more romantic than Venice, if that's possible. Being in Bruges is like having flashbacks from Amsterdam and Venice at every corner. The city is basically long canals and colorful, medium-sized, medieval-looking buildings that give you the impression you're in a movie set that's a mix of Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. Bruges is amazing by day and very, very romantic and peaceful by night. It has a relatively small population in comparison with other cities we've mentioned before, and this gives you enough privacy if you don't want an audience. The city is full of bridges, squares, and cute parks, but there's also a few hidden spots, dead-end little streets that are usually people-free and give you all the privacy you'd want or need to say those little words. But if you don't want to hide, then head to Lake of Love and the Bridge of Lovers, where they say that if you walk over the bridge and kiss your loved one, it will become eternal love. That's so romantic. We can already hear the bells ringing. Number 6. Cappadocia, Turkey. At the crossroads of Europe and the Middle East is Turkey. Their culture has been and still is strongly influenced by both regions, and you can still see that in all aspects of daily life, from food, architecture, traditions, or culture. The whole country is beautiful beyond words, and it's hard to choose a favorite spot, but Cappadocia wins just a little bit. Just do a quick Google search and you'll see why. This region has a very specific and unique geography and climate that makes it a UNESCO heritage site, as well as one of the most romantic places in the world. It's very rocky and dry, but it's made up with colorful rugs, pillows, clothes, and hot air balloons. Every morning at 5 a.m. you can watch hundreds of hot air balloons rising to the sky from your cave hotel. There's a special thing about this whole experience, the sunrise and the landscape that will make you daydream all day long. You can either propose from your balcony at 5 o'clock in the morning or straight from the hot air balloon. We know, it's a tough call. Number 5. New Taipei City, Taiwan. Romance has different meanings for everyone. Not all people are down for a 3-course meal dinner with candles and music. Some love nature, some like to cook and stay at home, and some like to improvise and go with the flow. We are all different, and the one city that best portrays this is Taipei. The city will have you wowing constantly because it's purely unique. New Taipei City is modern, futuristic-looking, colorful, abstract, and very, very green-oriented. It's as if Las Vegas and Tokyo had a baby, but a cool baby that's now a teenager and wants to impress everyone. Taipei is romantic for those who are minimalists, artists, or travelers. If you love skyscrapers and heights, you may want to propose on top of Taipei 101 Tower, the top Taiwan restaurant, or the suspension bridge. At night, the whole city lights up to all colors imaginable, and although everything is modern and tall, there are still a few spots like the Eternal Water Church or Dajia Riverside Park if you want privacy in this mega city. Number 4. The Philippines. Another Asian country where you can go for exotic proposals is definitely the Philippines. There isn't a particular place or region where people recommend to go because the whole archipelago is amazing and beautiful beyond words. There are over 7,600 islands in the entire archipelago, so you might as well move there because 7 days just isn't enough. Spending all day on the beach, under palm trees, swimming in the turquoise waters, or hiking are just the tips of the iceberg. Southeast Asia has a way of making you feel like you're always on holiday and you don't need the internet. It's really the perfect place to reconnect with your partner and tie the knot. Just imagine how beautiful it is to propose at sunset, on the beach, only having flowers in your hair and sun-kissed cheeks. It's just dreamy. Number 3. Northern Lights, Iceland. Some things only happen once in a lifetime, and some we experience once in a lifetime. Marriages are definitely not for everyone, but if you find the right human, it can be the most amazing experience ever. All adventurous couples or the digital nomads we see traveling the world today will most likely love and have thought of this location already. Seeing the northern lights is tricky, but indeed a spectacle of Mother Nature. To see the whole sky light up with dancing colors is something that will stick with you forever. And since we're talking about forever, this might be the perfect place to ask that special someone to be yours forever. Iceland is all about nature and pretty raw landscapes, so you'll just have to pick the perfect waterfall or volcano to pop the question. Mother Nature will love it and take care of everything else. For sure, both of you will remember it always. Number 2. The top of a mountain. An even more adventurous place to say I do is on top of a mountain. I mean, maybe not on top of Mount Everest because it's really high and dangerous, but let's say on top of a Hawaiian mountain. That should check all the boxes you need for a perfect proposal. Climbing and reaching the top usually gives you a true feeling of fulfillment because you've managed to get through all the hard times and focus on your goal. Sounds a little bit like relationships. Climbing is definitely not for everyone, but if this activity is what you do as a couple, then maybe a proposal after summiting is not a bad idea. It's a double celebration, and what can be more beautiful and private than being on top of the world together as one? You might want to consider Mount Fuji in Japan, Teide volcano in the Canary Islands, or Mont Blanc in France as other locations for your top-of-the-world proposal. Number 1. Renting an entire restaurant. Now, maybe we've watched too many movies, because there really isn't a more beautiful gesture than walking into a beautiful restaurant for dinner and realize that the two of you are the only ones dining, because guess what? Your partner just rented the whole thing so he can get down on one knee and ask you to marry him. If this scenario is completed with an exquisite restaurant, a band, flowers, candles, and a diamond ring, you're going to have all your friends envy you for the rest of your life. It does kind of sound too good to be true, and something that only celebrities would do, but it's not impossible. Of course, it doesn't need to be like that entirely, but we bet any girl would say yes just at the sight of the scenario. It's romance at its finest, and if you can make it happen in another city like Paris, for example, you're definitely a keeper. Proposals are always romantic and emotional. Even though not all engagements end with a marriage and happily ever after, it's nice to see that some people really put in an effort to make the moment special. Choosing the right moment, planning it ahead of time, and having the perfect ring is the simplest recipe if you ask anyone. But we're curious to know which is your dreamiest proposal. Is it a public one or a private romantic moment? Let us know in the comments below. And since you stuck with us until the end for being a true Aluxer, you know you get a bonus place for where you can propose. Hint, it's literally under the stars. Today's bonus proposal location is in space, the universe. The top of a mountain, an expensive restaurant, or Paris does sound great, but proposals can get even more creative than that. If you really want to impress and be sure the answer is yes, then maybe think outside the box or outside of Earth. Yes, up there in space. It might not be an option for everyone right now because of logistical reasons, but if you happen to have a ton of money or you're an astronaut, then you should definitely do it. It doesn't have to be a trip for both of you. A simple message from outer space could do the trick. We've all seen Armageddon and cried like little babies, right? So to be sure, it's a really good and original idea to send a message back to Earth filled with love. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.